Oh, just getting a link. Just setting up a link for the group. Won't be a sec. Just setting up a link for the group. Won't be a sec. Mute this video. Mute this video. There you go. Right, let me just post this. It's posted. Sorry to keep you waiting. Hi, Mike. Just wait for a few more to come in before we progress. So you all up to date, Mike? Hi, Nigel. Should post it in the Discord channel as well, shouldn't I? Really? Just watching now and then. No worries. That's what it's designed for. That's why it's on YouTube, so people can watch when they have time. Yeah, I'm good. Migraine stopped like later on in the night. It was about 9 o'clock. That that day that I had it. So all good today, thankfully. Funnily enough, not had one since, which is nice. Touch wood. Don't have any more, at least for a while anyway. Just slow loading up in the right directory. I put it in the right directory before we started. So how many are with us at the moment? Just 3 at the moment. So it's Nige, Mike, and Stuart Guest. For watching now. Who out of the 5 of you are like coding along or doing it to watch at a later date? Yeah, I'm good. Nudge, yeah, I hope the migraines have stopped anyway. Right, you're fully up to date, Stuart. Excellent. Right, the last time we were doing this, we just added the backgrounds, hadn't we? Let's load up load main.odn and then edit. Actually, let's assemble and see where we were up to. Start game. Alright, so yeah, we still had things moving around constantly, and let's fix that. So it's break to die, and then down to exit game. A space again because it pauses with the screen. I don't know if you're watching this, Mike, but maybe probably not because you don't have internet at the moment because you're currently moving. So when you see this next, Matt, sorry. When you see this next, basically, maybe the pause should be an option in the maybe at the top of the source file or something, and you have like opt pause, and it pauses at the end if it's not already. I can't. Oh yeah, opt pause. Dumbass. Yeah. So that's a good idea. Have opt pause. Who would have thought of that, eh? Right. What should we do next? Right, we've got it in our game file, I think. Oh. On game 2, aren't we? Yep, so load game 2. Yeah, no worries. And don't forget, you can always ask if it's anything you don't understand. Either me or on the group or on the Discord channel. Right, so in our loop we have it moving constantly, so that should be the first thing that we stop. That will be in, we need to change this to player2.odn because we want to keep player 1 for the old games that we've got. So we want to change this to a new player 2. Right, save that, and then load player 1 .odn, save player 2 12.odn, and then player 2 now. So what we need to do is at the direction. Maybe it was player up defined. Just find that. Oh, yeah. Right, now it's X, isn't it? What's the best way of doing this? Because we're going to want to be able to move diagonals as well. I can't remember what we did with the sprites now either. Did we do 8 directions? Did we do 4? I think it'd have been 8, wouldn't it? Now let's quit out of this. Document's not saved. Save and quit. Quit. Right. .spr. Yeah, so it's 8 directions. So I will exit out of that, simple shift space. Now, sometimes we have issues with, that's my fault with doing the sprite editor. It was sort of, I wrote it before we had the memory allocation and never got around to doing the memory allocation in it. So it's probably best to do a reset after, and that way it doesn't mess any of the memory when it allocates higher up, which is also where I think Odin does it as well. Odin load main.odn. Load game2.odn, load player2.odn, and edit. Right. I can't remember which way was up. I think it was 0 was up, wasn't it? And then following round on the right. And it was sprite 4. Right. we need to do is set them as bits, I think, and then we can have a table for which one. Right, so start off in our handle player. What we want to do is set the direction to 0 first, because we don't want it moving each frame, and then set L, comma, and then play it up. Actually, it's set come around in it. Right. Yep. So put my fingers in the right place, and then set player left, come out. Right. And this needs to be down to 15. And then upright, down left table needs to be something else now, which would be DW, and it'd be player move up. Actually, play it still, because that's 0, because we're setting bits. So we've got 4 bits. I'll just wait for my hand to come up on the screen. Yeah, we've got your 4 bits. Bit 0 is player up, I'll move up, move right, move down, move left. So this will be player move up, and then it would be DW player move down, and then this would be player still, because it's move up and down. At the same time. Right. Go import. Pressed, down, pressed, and that should be DN. Right, now is where it starts getting funky, because it's 4, so it's move. Actually, that's not up and down, is it? Because we had, right, yeah. So paste that. Didn't mean to do that. Oh. Right. And then we have player move UR up and right pressed. So that's our first 4 values, so the first 2 bits. And then we have down pressed, and then player still, because this is up and down pressed, and then DW player down and right, and then move right, and this is up and down and right pressed, so move right. I can fit right in. And then the next one, which is move left, right, player move, and this is up left, left and up pressed, player move, actually this is still, because this is left and right pressed, and DW player move up, this is up and left and right pressed, and then we do our last set of 4, which is player, this is left and down, down left, left and down pressed, player sorry, just how do controls work with joystick inputs? Have we? I don't think we've done that yet. Did we do it or did we not do it? I will go through that once I've finished this, Nige. I'll go through it properly and explain that, because that's a good idea. If I haven't done it already, I'll show you how to do it. Player move down left, and then player move left, because this is left plus and up and down. It's up and down. Yeah, it is up and down, isn't it? And left. Player move it is left and right. So this is a still. Or is it still? It's down, isn't it? Player move down. Down and left and right pressed. Player move. Player still, because this is 15, which is all 4 buttons pressed. Pressed. Right. Player move upright is deck D and ink E. Player move up and left, deck D, deck E, red. And player move down left is deck E, ink D, red. And player move down right is ink E, ink D, red. And player still red. Right. Where do we draw the character? We don't need to plot L2 anymore. So we can cancel that. Draw, well, extend mode X. Right. Yeah. Didn't we have a sprite where our player was? Right, anyway. Which image is this one? Right, what we need to do is play a dir. Right. Come on. Play a dir and in and page up. Comment A. We're gonna have to move this higher up actually. To do that. Right, so cut that and paste there. Cut that, paste there. paste there, load HL, comma, player sprites, short for player sprites, and then we've got our add HL with A, then do load C, comma, brackets HL. Right. And then PLR SPRS. DB, and then we want we should probably set which direction, which of the 8 ones, which of the 8 frames it is. Right, so what we will do is load A, comma 1, load bracket PLR dir, comma A. Right. Player dir was having the value of L stored in it. But instead of that, because we don't need to keep that because that's just the way you pressed, and using the jump table we'll do the jump and then set up the direction, because we're just using L as the to control the bits for which way it's playing or which way you're moving, and then we'll use the PLR dir for the direction you go in. Right, so upright is 1, load A, comma 7, load comma A. I'm going to copy that line, paste, and then up is A, comma 0. I could use XOR A, but I'm going to do load A, comma 0 for now. Load A, comma 2, then extend mode, load A, comma 4, load A, comma 5, and then load A, comma 3, the top and right, down and right, sorry. Load A, comma 6, copy that line again, and the reason being is when you're still, you don't have to set the direction, so it should stay on whatever direction you pressed last. So we got 6, 3, 5, 4, 2, 0, 7, and 1. That's all 8 of them. Right, so when we draw our player, we should get player dir. Don't need to and it's 15 because it's set to what it is. In fact, we can just do and then add a comma 4 because we know 4 is the base sprite for our player. And then we don't need that. Normally you'd use tables, but as we've got them in a row, I won't bother this time. The reason you use tables is if you do things like animations and you want to either bring sprites into one of the sprite images, or if you want to use the same image again in the reference on the animation table. But as we've not got any animations, then we won't do that. Right. Yeah. At the moment, we've just got this for our joystick. Actually, we could do right. No, what we do is we do. Let's run this and make sure this is working. Hang on. Let me just catch up, see what you've written in the messages. Yeah, Tony. Sinclair 1 and 2 ports are just number keys. 1 to 5 and 6 to 0. The 5 and the 0 being the fire, and then 1 and 6 is left. 2 and 7 is right. 3 and 8 is down. 4 and 9 is up, and 5 and 0 is fire. Obviously on their respective controllers. And then we have the Kempston, which is port 31, but I'll go into this now. Right, we can do bit. Which one do we want? This up. The way we used to remember joysticks was Fuddler for Sinclair and Fuddle do. Fire, right, left, down, up for Kempston, if I remember rightly. It's been years since I've done it, but yeah, basically it's FUDLR is Sinclair because it's 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 the bits, and then it's the numbers are for Sinclair 1 is 5 equals F, 4 equals U, as you can see, and then 3 equals D, 2 equals is that right? Oh, I messed it up. No, it is. Down, left, right. Yep. Oh, it must be Kempston that's do. Maybe I'm mixed up totally. And it was something else, a different console. Not even a computer. Right, anyway. No worries, mate, Paul. Don't want you getting beat up. Catch you next time, and you can catch it when you're free to catch this one. So 2 is right, and then comma 1 equals left. So best. And S2 Sinclair 2 equals 0 equals F, comma 9 equals up, 8 equals down, 7 equals right, 6 equals left. And then we have, I'm going to have to check this for Kempston. In 31 is the port. Kempston, actually, in 31. Now, the thing to remember also is when reading the Sinclair joysticks, like the keys, 0 equals pressed and 1 equals unpressed, not depressed. But I'll call it unpressed because it sounds nicer than a key being depressed. Right. So Kempston is in 31. And I'm going to have to check which bits are which. 5 is definitely fire. Sorry, not 5, 4. And then 3 is, we shall check. This could be fuddler actually, or for all do. Fire right, left, down, up. What we'll do is we'll try it in this. So bit, which one I'm doing up now. So we'll go with, let's see if this one's fuddler. So try bit 3, comma A, JR NZ, comma is Q. The reason this is NZ, even though that's NZ to go to not Q, is because the bits are inverted in on the Kempston. So 0 equals unpressed, comma 1 equals pressed. Right, is Q. And then we can to take my joypad out in a sec. Right. In a comma bracket 31 bit, and this is not A, which is down, which will be 2, comma A, JR and Z, comma is D, is A actually. I should change these to up and down, shouldn't I? So it's more readable. Is up. And change the comment so we don't need that comment anymore. Right. So is D and not D. And then come to in A comma bracket 31 bit 1 comma A. I can use and, which will be probably be, well, will be, not probably, will be 1 cycle faster. But we'll just use bit now because I've already done it. And this will be for left. JR NZ comma is L, not L. Is L. And then in A comma bracket 31, it's 0 comma A, JR NZ comma is R. Is R. Right. Let's see if we can save that and see if it works. Edit, assemble, assemble, no. So load, actually I should have it in already. Here it goes. Why have we not got anything? No. Right. Don't run it. Need to figure out why that's done that now. Load in, load main.odn. I'm just going to assemble that for now, just so it knows it's the main one, because we have to restart and then load player 2.odn. We need to do a load A comma brackets 31127 in A comma brackets 254 A jump C comma NC comma player death. Save. What was happening was we didn't have anything to say we were dead. So we should be able to space to die. Right. And 127 is string 7f or binary 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 7 ones, which is the first row on the keyboard from B to space, and then string FF. So port 254 is, sorry, not FF, FE. So port 7FFE equals B, comma, N, comma, M, comma, sim, comma, space. Get bit 0 into carry. Well, it's not just that, the RRA rotates A right and brings carry in or out as we're getting it out. Then jump if space is pressed to player death. Does Odin save before execution? Yes. You can't assemble it if it's not been saved, I don't think. Or can you? Right, I've just done changes. Let's edit and assemble. Oh, it does save. It saves. Yep. There you go. Also saves always before. Although it's a great feature, it's probably not the best thing to get used to, because if you ever go onto something else that doesn't save before you're assembling, like if you're working on a PC or something and you got, say, for instance, a notepad open and you're typing away in there, and then you go to a command line to assemble. If you haven't saved it, you're not going to get the thingy. So if you automatically make sure you save, that's what I do anyway, make sure I save. I'll try and remember to save anyway most of the times. Right. Need to find out why we are. Let's see what the buddies to, isn't it? Central buddies. C, 4, yeah, right. So ours is player dir add 4, let's see who they. And this is why. Yeah, we don't need to set it twice. Save that. Now we should be able to assemble it and run it. So right is down, P is right, well, P is down, and O is left. Well, and O and P is down, diagonally left, which is right. If O is left and P is down, right. Let's stop that then. This one. Right. Let's get rid of that line totally. Now, player left is 3. Um, up, right, down, left. Set up, down, left and right. I know why. Load A, L, because we'd set the bits in L that we wanted to jump. Just as well I caught that. Yep, that's all working now. So right, left, up, down, down right, down left, up right. And I'm not pressing anything. It stays on whatever was last pressed. Need to figure out now why it's not moving, because we're probably not storing yeah, we've moved. So when we've handled our player, we've not done any collisions, so we need to then check the. So we've moved and the player. Right, so actually what I will do, let me just check, grab a controller. Yeah, but I can't find the I find the joystick, but can't find the little virus thing. Dojin, it's the Spectrum Next. Why? Is it Dojin or Doggin? You're down, left, and up, right, and backwards. Right. I'm just curious. Okay, no worries. But a lot of it will work on the Spectrum, apart from the fact that we're now using layer 2 and stuff like that. Right, so I need to settings. That wasn't right. Let me do a restart and then go into the menus. Change, make sure it's on Kempston. Nope. Forgot to press edit. It's a startup. Try again. This time. Edit. Yeah, it's Kempston 1. Let's put on MD1, which is the same as Kempston 1. It's just it'll just read all the buttons. Enter to accept, and enter again. Right. Dot Odin load main.odn load layer 2 .odn right. Main.odn, and let's see what the joypad gives us. Let's see if we got bits right. Should have that on there. Start as well. I will add that as well. Up, down, left, right. There we go. So we now have keyboard and joypad. No worries. Easy mistake. Glad you got it sorted. Right, so now need to exit. So now that we've got the play thingy going the right direction, and we've got Kempston, we could add actually, should we make a joypad? Let's make a system for it be better. Edit. misc, isn't it? Load misc dot ODN. Right. Read input. Right. Right. What we'll do with this is we'll basically make well, we'll read the joystick. I will call it read joysticks. I'll read joystick. And then joysticks, because then we can do it for the next player 2 as well when we have that. So what we'll want is joy 1, db 0, joy 1, old, db 0, joy 1, joy 1, debounce, and then joy 2, joy 2, old, if I can type, joy 2, debounce 0. Right, and then we'll need inputs. Right, joy inputs, or joy table. We'll call it joy table. Then we want DW, and then right, go to the player. Then we can see which ones we had. So for up, we want FBFE. And then which bit do we want? Bit 0. And then that sets player up, which is a player should be able to use that from the other file. And then down is FDFE, FDFE, comma, bit player down. Sorry, which bit is it? Bit 0 again. Player down, and then DW. This is BFFE. Let's check it. It is. D. Yeah. Yeah. C is BH and 6, and the one missing is Y. Right. Bit 0, comma, player right. Actually, this should be plus 56 times. Actually, no, we'll do it as a different thing. Do it as a. I can't do a colon, so I have to duplicate each line and then get rid of that to there, and then B. And then string DFFE DB 1 PLR left. Right, then we need a DB0 for now. We'll use that as an how to end it. In fact, we'll do our DW31 DB so our up is bit 3 up DW31 DB3 2 pillar down DW31 DB 1 comma player left, isn't it? Bit 1, yep. So, up, down, left is bit 1, yep. Right is bit 0. Left W31 DB 0 comma player right. Right, that's just our up, down, left, right for both directions. And then we need to load E comma 0. That's our joystick value. Actually, no, let's do HL comma joy1. Load A comma brackets HL. Load joy1 old comma A. In fact, we will do inc HL load HL with A, and then deck HL. Let's point HL back to joy1. So joy1 and point it to joy1 old with the inc HL, store it, and then store the old joy version before we've read them in the old one, and then we need to then load brackets HL comma 0 and So we want this to be read joystick. And then we want to do load IX, player 1 input. We'll call that player 1 input. Joy table. Player 1 input. Right. Right, then we do read joy loop, load C, comma brackets IX plus naught, load B, comma bracket IX plus 1, load A, comma C, or A ret Z. Right, so that'll fall out once we've got to the end of our list. So basically we get the low byte and high byte of the first word, which is the joystick or the port, and then we do in A, comma bracket C, then actually instead of that we will just do the thingy so we can just AND it. Right. And then that way we don't need to do any mad calculations to set the bit. Right, so we just then in fact, if we do in D, comma A, then we can do load A, comma B, or A, JR, NZ, Z, comma, no, flip. Actually, read joy 1. So it's, in case we need no flip or something else, read joy 1. And then the reason we got load A with B and OR A is this is port 31, so it's actually string 001F. So we'll put them as 1F so you know that B is 0. So because the Kempston bits aren't inverted, so that when the 1 they're pressed and when the 0 they're not pressed, whereas any of the other B values are. So, and then we just do load A, comma D, CPL load D, comma A. In fact, we can do load A, comma D there. Yeah, because if we do the in, it'll change the flags. Just have to check. Yeah, so otherwise we could have done in A comma bracket C there, but it'll change the 0 flag. So we can get rid of that, and then we just do and bracket ix plus 2. So we then have our correct bit, and it will be the right way around, being set for button pressed. Right, then JRZ, comma not set. Oh, sorry, read joy not set. Right, and then we need to do load A comma bracket IX with HL or brackets IX plus and this should be, because we're going to be pouring it in. This is how you change a number to a bit, or to a number bit to a value. But since we don't have it in an instruction, it's quicker and easier to do it as the data. Because basically it just goes get a value of 1 and then shift up however many bits. Actually make it a little bit more readable. Right. Yep, you'll have to catch up later. Fine. Right, so x plus 3 and load brackets HL comma A. And then jump. Nope, wrong button. Let's go up, not down. Read joy loop. And I'll just loop around until we get 0, which is the end. So that would basically just be setting values in our joystick. Our joystick bits. Right. I won't do the debounce just yet. I will just get it working with the rest of the game. So we call read joysticks. And if we go to main, to main menu and game. Right. This is game 2. Right. Our game loop we should do call read joysticks. I think I had that as all one word without the thingy, didn't I? Yeah. Let's keep some similarity in it. Read joysticks. And change that to read joystick, and then down the bottom I'll leave the loop. Right, and let's look at menu. That's just game 1, 2, and 3, isn't it? Anyway, move up and down. There's us. Yeah, that wait no key is gonna have to be different. Because that just does a MISC, I think it is. Is it? Nope. Right. I can't find wait no key. It's not in there. It's probably in main, is it? Should really be in. No, it's not in main. Oh, it's in input. I probably should have done that keyboard stuff in input, shouldn't I? Hey guys. Yeah. Matt could definitely use a copy and paste. A block copy and paste. Right, it's going to be interesting. Because that's a lot of. I'm going to leave that there for now. because I can't be asked wasting ages copying line by line between files. So I'll leave that in read joysticks. Right. I'll move that once we get the block copy feature. So down the next link, right? XOR call read joysticks. Joy 1. JZ, comma, quick key. Right, it's not going to be any key at the moment. I'm going to disable it so it's only the control keys that you. And then same with that. So we will call read joysticks load a comma bracket joy 1 or a JRNZ comma quick key. This will be changed when we get the debounce stuff in. So because the debounce will say whether you press anything or not. Right. So we have the wait key, wait for no key, wait for a key. So menu calls it, and then what we need to do is go down. Player down. That should have been joy down really, not player. Let's do that now. Joy up. Zero joy right equals 1 joy down equals 2 and joy left equals 3. joy down, JRZ, comma, menu not down, and then we can get rid of this. And then do the same again. One and joy up. Down Z up. And that is space for fire, wasn't it? So we can do, in fact, let's get it in our joy, right, or F1 equals 4, joy F2 equals 5, joy F3 equals 6, and joy F4 equals 7. No, it's ST, isn't it? We can do that one as A and B and C, because we're using the Mega Drive settings. Right, and then what you can do is, because we've got our thingy set to, copy that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then copy that line, and 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Right, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. Right, and then we can do what keys we want for our fire, our ABC and thingy. Right, so for the main fire, we want space, obviously, because spacebar is the best on this keyboard for fire. So that will be 7FFE, and then DB 0, shift left. Oh no, sorry, 1, shift left, 0, comma 1, shift left, joy A. And then we want second fire button to be M, maybe. So string 7FFE again for the port, and then DB1 shifted over twice, because that's bit 2 for M, because bit 0 is space, bit 1 is symbol shift, and bit 2 is M. And then to set the joystick and be joy B. And I just put comments on these. So this is Q, A, P, O. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to L and R, change them to R, and don't forget to change these bits, which is the bit that it actually sets, bit 0 and 1. And then we can have it ordered the right way. B, A, O, and P. So P is right and bit 0. So, and then we've got space M. And then we want DW string. And the C button can be N maybe. So it's 7FFE again. And then DB1 shifted up 3. And 1 shifted up joy C times, and that is N. And then we have start, which will be into so that won't be 7FFE, that will be could be 1 bit up, so that will be 8, 10, 11, so it would be B. So basically 7FFE is that, well, 7F, and then we want to change it to that bit, so it's BF. Sorry, that should have been that way for you guys. BFFE, and that is DB1 shifted up 0 because the enter is 0 in from the right, up from the end of the keyboard, and then 1 shift left joy ST, enter. Right, so now we should have up to 8 keys for our input, and then we can also at some point later we can use this to redefine the keys, and then these will always be set for because it's the joystick. Right. So menu. Load a comma bracket joy 1 and joy ST. Jump NZ, jump Z comma main menu loop. Right. And then we have another one here as well. Joy 1 and joy up. Joy down. JRZ comma menu opt not down. load a comma brackets joy 1 and joy start Z comma augment lib, and that is that for menu. And then we need to know going to game 2. That'll be player 2, won't it? We've got all the joysticks in there. Right. So what we need to do now is change this to load a comma brackets joy 1 and joy up not 1, 2, 3. And then we do load a comma bracket joy 1 and joy down Z coming up down. Right, and then load a comma bracket joy 1 and in fact what we can do is bit and hang on, I can't use and because it needs to be one shifted up. Is it EQ? Yeah, I'll change it to EQU and just notice that, Stuart. Sorry. Well spotted. I'm jumping all over the place a bit today for some reason. Right. And one shifted up. Joy left. And JRZ coming up left. They come up bracket. Joy. In fact, what I will do is bit A, and then we don't need that, and change this to, because we're not changing A, so we don't need to load it from joy again. And we don't need to and because we're using the bit, and this should save time memory. So copy that. copy, paste, and then get rid of all of them. Change that to a Z, change that to a right. Get rid of that. That's wrong comments anyway, because that was copy and paste and not updated. There we go. Right, and then we do load a common bracket joy1 and joy and one joy st, and then jump nz play death. Let's enter or start. We call it start because enters our key for start. Right, now I need to go through and make sure all of the other references are the correct, being shifted or not. Right, so player is for that, which is fine. And then got our joy bit. Right, so save that and then load our menu up, make sure that's correct with our ands. Because otherwise it'll just be anding it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is not what we want. We want to and the bit. Or we could just do bit. Comma A. Bit. Comma A. Right. Second part of the first half of the menu. Bit. Right. Save. Let's go to MISC, make sure that is indeed set up as bits. Yep, so they are bit numbers. A2 is fine. The menu is fine. Don't use it in game. Input doesn't use it. Right, fingers crossed. we might be able to assemble it. Line 84. Plain MISC. MISC. Line 84. EQU, yeah. Yeah, the joystick definition should do, but until I've got a... Yeah, let's put them in. Load defines, isn't it? .odn. No, I wanted to keep the defines. Yeah, I suppose we should keep them because they are specific to joysticks. So joy. What was first? Joy up. Up. EQU 0. Joy down. EQU 1. Joy. Left. Up, down, right, left, there. Off, right, down, left, off. Right, down. Joy. Left. EQ3. Joy 8. EQ4. Joy B. EQ5. Joy C. EQU6. Joy ST. EQU7. Save. And then get rid of them. Save that. Assemble. MISC 109. Using accidentally pressing L and then copy and pasting it as well. That's a jump out of range. And menued Odin. Line 59. Menu line 59. Not up. Save. Needs to be a jump. No, and simple 136. The underscore. Right. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this should work. Looking good. saved. So no. So close. Right, so we need to find out whether that's calling the routines or not. And to restart. .odn. And maybe we should call the Odin ODN. You just get so used to typing ODN. Load main.odn. Right. Let's assemble it so it knows that's the main file. And then you want to load menu.odn, which comes in, close the menu, it's got wait key and wait no key and wait key. Load disk.odn, that should be an input really. Yeah, it's an input, isn't it? Yeah. Load input.odn. Right. Ah. No key. Right, try that. Nope, it's too good to be true. It's not that, something else. Right, load menu.odn. Right, let's do some good old-fashioned debugging. Get the border going. Right, load mist.odn. Right. Right. Ah, I know what I forgot. This is what I forgot. IX. I know there's probably better ways and faster ways. Am I using DE? Actually, I could probably use DE, couldn't I? DE, right, C. Yep. Right, so load D, 4 and X, D. And that's the issue. It should work now. Nope. Oh, yeah. Right, that's upside down. Right. And enter is indeed enter. Right, so, and enter is to die. Right, right, so all we need to do now is go to the menus. Menu, and make sure we've got alright, okay, that needs to be up, not down. Up. Because basically we get KSY or A. If it's 0, then go to not up. Otherwise decay, so going up. And this one's the down. So it's my fault not actually reading the code as I changed it. Down. Not down, not down, and not down. And then we need to do the same on the other bit of code. That is right in the options. Yeah, it's because I went up from the options, wasn't it? No. Yeah, is it? Right. No, it isn't the right way in the thing. There it is. So save that, assemble. And run. So we should be able to options, yep, up and down, no working now. Options. Right. So has everyone followed where we're up to with the joystick? What it asked about joystick before. Yeah, Tony Tang and Nigel Hurst. So, Nigel, did that answer your question on the joystick? Yeah, you're following. Cool. Anyone else? Anyone not following what we did with the joysticks then? With our reading in MISC. Because now what we do is basically just set 8 bits in this byte, in Joy1. And then from there on we read any port, get any bit of that port, and if the bit is set or not set, depending on if it's naught in the high byte, then we set a bit in the joystick. So is that clear enough to follow? on keyboard. Just make sure I've not done anything. Yeah. What was it? 86. But still compile. Not symbols. Yep. Right. Right. We also need to do the debounce stuff now, don't we? So we need to do core read join loop. So that gets all the bits. And then what we need to do then is oh wait, 2 ahead, aren't we? 2 we're in the second byte. No, we decked back, sorry. Yeah, so it's still on joy, 2 bytes ahead to go to the debounce. Right, right. So we need to do load e comma brackets HL. I can see. Actually, load e comma brackets HL. Inc HL. Load d comma brackets HL. That's the old value. And then inc HL, because we want to put it in the debounce. So just look at my notes. It is so it's new value, and so load a comma e and d, and then XOR H, which is the new value, XOR E, XOR E, and then should be load HL. Red. Right. Fingers crossed that will debounce keys. So if we go back into the menu, what we can do is, what did we call the values? Tab. So we shouldn't need to do this, we should just be able to do core read joysticks. And it's coming down for now. That's the options. Let's do it again on the main menu. Core read joysticks. Save. This might flicker because, yeah, but it's doing it. The reason it's flickering is because we've got no VBlank. Wait. Right, and it's right. And what we could do is we can, now that we've got that, if we go back to MISC, we can also, because we're doing, we can just set any bit by reading a bit of a joystick. We can then do what is it? EFFE, and that is the top right row, and that is dB. Now the problem with using the arrow key, I was going to add the arrow keys so you can navigate through the menus, but the problem with using the arrow keys is Sinclair Joystick 1 and Sinclair Joystick 2, which is why I prefer using Kempston for joysticks. It's because Sinclair 1 and Sinclair 2, Sinclair Joystick 1, Sinclair Joystick 2 use the 5 is the fire button for one of them, and 6, 7, 8 and 0 are used on the other one. Well, 6, 7, 8 are used on the other one for left, right and down. So right is down, up is right, and left, down is left, and then the left is fire on the other joystick. So anyway, I'll add the cursors to our controller now. So we want bit 8 because we want to set bit. Well, we do up first, so it's bit 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 is 7. So 3, 1, shifted up 3 times. And that maps to 1. And that's up. So joy up. And that is 7. DW string EFFE. Want right now to follow the that will do down. Sort it. DB and 1 1 shifted up 4 times. 1, shifted up, joy, down, 6. And then TW right for left, we want F7, F8, and that is the top left row of the numbers. DB1 shifted up 4, which is 1, shifted up, joy up, left, that's 5. DW, and back to EFFE for our last one, which is 1 shifted up, 2, which is 1 shifted up, joy, right, and that's 8. Keys. And Q A O P Q, A, O, P, space, N, enter. Add constant and D1. Right, so if I save that now, you should then be able to assemble it, assume it all works, and then run. And now we've got case keys doing down, left, right, and you can actually play with the case keys if you wanted. All the numbers 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I spotted it just in time. Right. Thanks, Stu. So now in 3. I wonder what happens if we do interrupts. And yeah, so let's do interrupts. I don't know how Odin will handle this, so it'll be interesting. So this will go in the MISC routine. Now the problem is that, yeah, well, it's not a problem because we're not going to be bringing any banks. We're not changing any banks yet, so in fact, what I can do is set up our own stack in here as well. Yes, 64. Not to 8, just in case. Actually, no, 64 should be fine. Load. I don't know what been. Is Ped here? No, I guess not. Anyway, right. Load a comma. Interrupt base. Divided by 256. Load I, A. And then IM2 ret. Interrupt. No capitals, keep it all lowercase. Right. Load push AF pop AF ret I. Right, this is going to get very colourful. Actually, might change. So I will do the comma. Interrupt mod load a comma 0. Inc a answer. Right, so interrupt mod load a 0 inc a and 7. Put it back in int mod +1, which puts it in here. So next time it comes into the interrupt, it'll be 1. Set the border color, pop AF and ret, retain from interrupt. Now we need to go into main. Just save that. We've got interrupt base, and we need to call setup interrupts. Load lines.odn. I'm just making sure there's no code in here. Didn't think so. Right. So this is the start, and then got our stack report. Oh, I've already got my stack. Right, I don't think that's going to be over 128 bytes long, so it's 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 13, 15, 17, 20, 23, 26, 28, 31, 35, 38, 41, 44, 47, 50, 51, 53, 53, 56, 59, 60. Response rates, yeah. Okay, cool. Right, and then in fact, we should probably move this into here. just copying the routine. So we don't need to do that because that's set up. So get rid of a call. Put our interrupt in MISC. We don't need our stack. In fact, I will put this in because I want to put it within the first 1 to 8 bytes. I'll tell you why in a sec. Then what I do, log string 100, or actually, yes, string unless it's star. We'll find out in a sec. On the next week, could you just use reg to set to Kempston? Yeah, we could use the register to set it to Kempston, but the thing is, when you're doing games, you sort of, it's best to try and either make sure you set it to Kempston, read it, and set it back to what it was before, in case somebody's set it up specifically for another joystick. And then you only have to read Kempston anyway. But I always just set my machine to Kempston. Well, or MD1 or MD2. But anyway, interrupt page, no, interrupt page, I'll call it. Yes, string 8 2 257, comma, string 8 2. And has anyone used interrupts before on the Spectrum? Well, on any Z80 machine, like interrupt mode 2. Yes, no. Anyone not used interrupts before? No, right, okay. Basically, you take control of the machine totally with the going into interrupt mode 2 because you're no longer using, yeah, no worries, Nigel. You're no longer using the basic interrupts, which is at 66 hex, or is it 38 hex? Anyway, the basic interrupts are IM1, which is interrupt mode 1, which handles all the basic functionality, the basic keyboard reading and stuff like that. So obviously you can include it in your own by just doing a call to the old interrupts vector. But when you use interrupt mode 2, it uses the iRegister, which is, as you can see here, we set up the iRegister with the high byte, because we've got divided by 256 of interrupt page. And then what it does is when it gets an interrupt, it uses I would like to say random value as the low byte. It's just, I don't know whether it's what's stored on the bus or what's stored in the old low address or of mem pointer or whatever, but wherever it gets its low byte from, it then uses the low byte plus our iRegister for the high byte, and then gets a word from that address. So what games usually end up doing is filling a 257 byte chunk starting at an address, or a 256 byte boundary. And they fill that with the with a single byte, and it points to, so we've got 8282 here. So what that would do is then I'd have to do a ds string 8282 minus string and then this would be where it jumps to, because the 257 bytes is 256, because it can pick any start address in that page for the jump vector, and then it gets the next byte, which is why we use 257 instead of 256. So 8282, and because our code starts at 8000, our code starts at 8000 hex, which starts at 8000. That's why I counted the size of the code before. And then in fact, we might be better off putting the stack higher up. No, we can't put the stack higher up because that's 80. It would have to start at 80, which would be where the stack is. We can put the stack to 64, I suppose, and then yeah, so if we put it to 80, this would then jump to 8080. So I'll need to calculate the size of this again. 3, 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 28, 31, 33, 30, 36, 30, 40, yeah, 43, 46, 49, 52, 55, 56, 58, 61, 60. It's 3 bytes, isn't it? 64, 65. 65 bytes. So if we then do actually ds string 8080 minus string, and then string 8100. Right. That and start there and make back. Right. So 8100, we have our interrupt. 8080, we have our interrupt. And now we shouldn't need that extra buffer. Right. So, as I was saying, because we've set our, I don't know how this is going to go when it exits, because we've set our I register to interrupt page divided by 256, our interrupt page starts at 8100. And so the next 257 bytes are 8080, which would then, when you get an interrupt, would jump to 8080, which is here. And because the routine's only small, we should be able to keep the stack from, I don't think we use the stack that much to go stop it from going through this piece of code. Right, so save that, assemble it. 67 valid instruction, 67 defines. It's been made. Yeah, it'll be this, won't it? Save. Right. Let me just check what APED. Bottom byte comes from the bus, thanks. Yeah. Mission underscore and yep, I got that, Stuart. I actually can't recall if there's ever used like that. No, basically everyone that I know of anyway in the games industry, including Joffa, just did 257 bytes of the same value, so it jumped to a specific address. It was a waste of 257 bytes, but that's what we had to do. Choose the interrupt mode too. Choose that for that pad anyway. And Curiosity Spectrum, when the Spectrum was released, why did they have a Kempston and Sinclair standard? I think the reason they had the Kempston and Sinclair standard was because the Sinclair ones used to overtake the keys, so you couldn't really use them to like press 1 to start, press 2 to press 2 for options, because that'd be left and right and down, like for 1, 2, 3, on one of the joysticks. So I guess the Kempston was nicer because it didn't alter the keys, the keyboard input, so you could use the whole keyboard as well. And Kempston was independent. Yeah, there's a few different styles of one. Someone did ones where you had wires where you could connect the joystick wire to a specific key, and then you could play the joystick on basically a remapped key presses, which is a great idea. But anyway, wrong keyboard. So assemble that and run. Why did that go straight into the game? I know why it went straight into the game, because it's not come back. Yeah, I thought so. We've got to set the interrupt mode back to IM1. That's something you haven't done, Ped or Matt, when you get back to when you get some internet back. I suppose that's a good thing, the fact that you have to save everything before it assembles, because when you run it, you just reset and you've got it all back. Load main.odn. Right, and what I forgot was basically before we exit back out, exit program, we do IM1. We could also do EXX push HL, EXX push IY, and they're the registers that 48 basic uses. I don't know if Gary Lancaster, I think Gary Lancaster might actually reset them. I'm not sure. I'd have to check with Gary. But the normal Spectrum, if you were exiting back to basic, you would have to set the restore the HL, alternate HL, and IY. So after we've got our stack store back, we then pop pop IY, EXX, pop HL, EXX, then IM1 red. Right, save that. Try that on it. I'll have to read the keyboard again. Oh. Why did that not return? Nope, that wasn't good. I've probably done something with the stack. Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, that's why that was one of the reasons I haven't used the interrupts before now. Otherwise, I'd have set them up ages ago. I wasn't sure what it'd be doing. Yeah, thanks for adding the issue, Ped. Much appreciated. Right, so what we need to do is load a comma I, push AF, and then pop AF, load I comma A, two. Let's see if that works. Save. Hey, and we're back. Right, what we could do is load defines.odn, turn to Odin, one, turn to basic, Q1. Right, what we want return to basic is equals 0, because we're not return to basic. And then load a comment return to Odin or a ret nz. Right, because we're already in interrupt mode 2, so that doesn't need setting. And then we don't need the return to basic because we've got exits on if you're not returning to thingy. Yeah, so we leave that out so it doesn't confuse things. Right, so we're going to save the run this, and it should just to call read call wait no call read joysticks. Right. Right. Now, this should exit back to Odin. Yep. Now, when we change that, this is going to need to reset, I know, but I'm just testing it. don't know why I did that. Didn't need to run the game, just exit. Yeah, it's crashed. And we should get that blue thing, yeah. Right. So we know our thingy now works. Let's load in. Save. And then load main.odn. Right. So load player2.odn. Just so you know that player1.odn and possibly we probably should have changed menu to menu 1 and menu 2, so we could have different menus for each game as well. In fact, we'll probably do that because we'll but we won't do it now. We'll do it later. We'll just get this game moving around. So our handle player moves our registers, and then we need to do load bracket x. Is it x plrx? Yeah, x plus. D save. Yay, and we're back. That should die when you crash into things. And what we can do now is in our main, in our interrupt routine, where is it? As our interrupt routine, program interrupt. I don't know why the board wasn't flashing. Oh, it's because we're in layer 2. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll get rid of that, and then we'll do load a comma bracket game frame, not game frame, int count, inc a load int count comma a. Right, and then what we will do is have int count db0, and then in our menu odn, we do here. Call wait sync. In fact, we'll put our read joystick up there as well. Call wait async. Call read joysticks. Save. Oh, I haven't done the routine yet, so I need to do that in MISC. Count. Load a comment back into count or a JRZ comment wait async loop. Save. I've forgotten one major important thing. Does anyone know what I've forgotten? Anyone know what I've forgotten? That's the answer. And yes, I will DI before ret as well. DI, and then you want AI for basic. So save. Then still not getting our interrupt. Right. Address into AI. Right, so interrupt is definitely interrupt mode 2. Address is set. Enable interrupt is set. just out of curiosity, are we doing anything at all with this should at least set it to blue. And 7 else 254 A. It's definitely not going over. Got a stack going back towards the code, but shouldn't go over it because it works. Is there any DI anywhere else, I suppose? Right, load in menu.odn. No DI there. No disable in there. No disable in there. Yeah, we've already set up, that's why we've already set so that stack up because we were paging banks. It's getting into the code, but it's not. It's drawing the screen. It's drawing the main screen and then dying. Could it be? Do I need to re-enable the interrupts? Disable them there. Would that be affecting it? Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, the interrupt was disabling the interrupts going into our interrupt, just so it doesn't start another interrupt, I guess. So, yeah, should be able to start the game, and we've got our quick flashing because the game isn't using the wait for vsync. And we're back. So if we now go into game, Load game 2. Again. Oh. In fact, I can do that at the call. Wait, vsync. And then we can get rid of this go sub. We can get rid of this line anyway. Because we no longer need delay because we have everything running under interrupts. Right. And as it's 5:20, I think we will stop there while we're on a winning lead. We've done controllers with joystick inputs, done keyboard inputs with the option to at some point add redefine keys. We'll put that in in fact we'll do that next week in the options page. And we will do what else? We've done setup interrupts, interrupt mode 2. We've got I can change the screen color out now. We can get rid of that. Save. Right. Yeah, we've got the interrupts going. The game and the menu is now smoother because we're using the interrupts. There's no flickering. And the game's run at 50 or 60 depending on what you've got your next set to. Right. Any questions before we go? Or is everyone okay so far? Anyone who's watching this later on, just message either on the YouTube video or on Facebook, the Spectrum Next group, or on the Jim's tutorials in the Discord channel. Spec Next Chums. No worries. Yeah, anytime, Nigel. Well, that's why I do the code along, because if you've got questions, ask them. It can be about anything, and we'll look into them. Obviously, we'll continue doing the game, but if you've got anything that you need to, that you are curious about, like I know if you wanted to do zigzag sprites on the old ULA screen or whatever, any questions like that, just ask and we can look into them at some point. If it's too big a change from the game we're currently working on, we'll do it after we finish the current game or whatever. But it's quite easy to swap over anyway. We could even make the main screen ULA, the main menu stay in ULA, and then have the game in layer 2. Because we've basically got the option to do that anyway, because we've got ULA print routines and layer 2 print routines. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, chaps. If there's no more questions for today, then have a good weekend, or have a good rest of your bank holiday weekend, because you got Monday off. Woohoo! Have fun, and I'll catch you all soon. Kind of like the flashing border, yeah. Me too. But at least with the flashing border, you know it's alive. It's the way I look at it. You know it's still running. Ta-ra, guys. See you in 2 weeks. Anytime, Stuart. Right. Stopping the stream. Ta-ra.